The story begins with enemy soldiers crossing the border and taking over a military base in a neighboring country. They capture some soldiers and hold them hostage. The neighboring country knows that if they kill the enemy soldiers, it will lead to war. In a military meeting, the president asks his soldiers how they can save their troops. The chief of army staff informs him that they have sent the Alpha team from Special Forces to the base. The soldiers surround the base. When the Alpha team arrives, the soldiers on duty ask their commander, Captain Shujun, what to do next. Shujun tells them that this isn't a typical military zone, so they'll try to resolve the situation through negotiation. As Shujun approaches the base, he loudly informs the enemy soldiers inside that it's in their best interest to peacefully vacate the premises and return to their country. He assures them that they won't be harmed. Shujun's partner suggests that the enemy soldiers might not comply. Shujun decides to enter the base, informing his sniper support to provide cover. The sniper responds that he's in position, ready to provide backup. The soldiers outside the base lay down explosives around its perimeter. One of them expresses concern about the Alpha team inside, but the other soldier replies that if negotiations fail, the explosives will be used. Captain Shujun and his teammate approach the base gate, where Shujun warns the enemy soldiers one last time to resolve the situation peacefully. The gate opens, and an enemy soldier points a gun at Shujun, inviting him inside. As Shujun and his teammate enter, they face the enemy commander. The enemy commander drops his gun and holsters his sidearm, pulling out a knife and challenging Shujun to a fight. Shujun and his teammate accept the challenge, drawing their own knives. The enemy soldiers and Alpha team engage in an intense and brutal knife fight. The enemy commander puts up a fierce struggle, but Shujun dodges and parries his attacks, managing to push him back. As they fight, they stumble out of the base. In the heat of the battle, the enemy commander lands a blow, stabbing Shujun in the stomach. However, Shujun's knife is pressed against the enemy commander's throat, and he chooses not to deliver the final blow. The enemy commander asks Shujun why his hand is trembling, suggesting it's because he fears international repercussions. Shujun responds that he won't hesitate to shed blood for his country's peace. The enemy commander orders his soldier to shoot Shujun, but a sniper's red laser dot appears on the soldier's head. Shujun tells the commander he won't stop his soldiers. The commander tells Shujun that his country won't accept his body if he dies her. He orders his soldier to stand down and says it's nice meeting Shujun on the field. However, Shujun smiles and replies that he doesn't enjoy meeting him every year. The enemy commander and his soldiers leave. Shujun informs the military chief that the situation is under control. Shujun and his friend are competing in a toy shooting game, but they lose. They're surprised, since their aim isn't usually that bad. Suddenly, they hear shouts of thief and see a boy fleeing on a stolen motorcycle, heading straight for them. As the boy approaches within 5 meters, Shujun and his friend react quickly, using their toy guns to attack him. The distraction causes the thief to lose control, and his bike slips, sending him crashing to the ground. For humanity's sake, the soldier boy calls the hospital, reporting an accident to get the thief treated. Shujun gives the thief first aid and asks the shopkeeper to bring some soft toys. Later, Shujun and his friend Wolf sit in a restaurant with the soft toys. They tease each other about their girlfriend's beauty. Wolf reveals he used to steal as a teenager too. Knowing everything, Shujun jokes about Wolf's past. Suddenly, Wolf's ex-girlfriend calls Shujun. Shujun teases him, and Wolf pleadingly asks Shujun not to answer. Shujun jokingly demands favors. Wolf offers him biryani and juice, but Shujun doesn't agree. At last, he offers to arrange a meeting with his beautiful cousin. Shujun agrees, handing over the phone and demands his phone to see his cousin's photo. However, when Wolf can't find his phone, Shujun accuses him of being robbed. Wolf recalls when he had given first aid to the thief, who might have stolen the phone then. After discovering his phone is missing, Wolf becomes furious and heads to the hospital to confront the thief. Meanwhile, the nurse and driver help the thief out of the ambulance. Wolf's phone falls out of the thief's pocket, and the driver picks it up, handing it to the nurse. The nurse answers an incoming call from a girl named Myungju. The nurse tells Myungju that the person has been in an accident and is in the hospital. Inside the hospital, a beautiful lady doctor arrives to treat the thief. She notices soft toys around him and asks who did this to him. When she sees a note on his hand, labeling him as a thief and instructing staff to treat him harshly, she asks who wrote it. The thief angrily asks her to erase the note, calling it nonsense. The doctor reassures him that he'll need an X-ray and can contact his insurance company. She instructs the nurse to prepare for the X-ray and leaves. The nurse informs the thief about an incoming call on the phone she mistakenly thinks is his. The thief pockets the phone and pulls out his own, calling his partner to report the situation. As he's talking, he falls off the bed. In the hall, Moyon submits her research work to her professor, who praises her and says she's almost certain to become a professor after an interview. As they talk, Moyon notices her patient trying to escape through the window. Her professor instructs her to bring the patient back. Moyon chases after the patient and returns him to the hospital. The patient is furious, demanding to be released, fearing his brother will harm him if he stays. Moyon explains she's just doing her job. The nurse intervenes, telling the patient he can leave after completing the paperwork and paying his bill. The patient argues that he didn't even receive treatment, but the nurse insists he must pay the doctor's fee. When he refuses, the nurse threatens to call the police. Reluctantly, the patient agrees to pay. As he's about to leave, Moyon asks where he's going. Furiously, the boy says he is going to the washroom, handing Moyon Wolf's phone, acting like it's his phone. As Moyon is holding Wolf's phone, Big Boss calls. She doesn't answer, thinking the boy might straighten up if he is in the military. Shortly after, Shujun and Wolf arrive at the hospital. Meanwhile, the thief escapes again. Inside, Shujun calls Wolf's phone, and the ringtone leads him to Moyon. She's surprised when Shujun confirms he's Big Boss. Moyon asks him if they came to harm her patient. Shujun jokes that they were just kidding. Moyon gets angry, instructing the nurse to lead them out and have security keep an eye on them. Shujun and Wolf are pushed by the nurse, but when Shujun sees Moyon, he's immediately smitten. He can't take his eyes off her and is drawn to her beauty. Wolf tells Shujun that the thief can't be far and they should go find him. However, Shujun, smitten with Moyon, pretends to have appendix pain to get out of the search. Wolf teases him, joking about the pain shifting sides, and Shujun laughs it off, claiming his pain is gone. They both head outside. Meanwhile, the nurse worriedly asks Moyon about what would happen if they attacked them. Moyon confidently claims she can handle herself, saying she knows knife fighting. The patient she is treating overhears this, becomes frightened and faints. Outside the hospital, Shujun and Wolf see the boy being beaten by thugs. Wolf wants to intervene, but Shujun asks what's so special about the phone. Wolf doesn't answer. Shujun distracts the thugs, and Wolf approaches the boy. He warns the thugs that he doesn't care about them, only the boy. The boy begs Wolf to save him, saying they want money he doesn't have. The boy's friend explains that he wants to leave the gang, but they're demanding payment. Wolf offers to pay the thugs if they can take the money from his wallet. He asks the boy's name, and then claims the boy is his little brother, offering to pay the debt himself. The thugs don't believe him and pull out knives, but Wolf takes them down. Shujun picks up a knife and playfully challenges the thugs, saying whoever has a knife or gun should come forward. The thugs' leader gets angry, boasting that they're 10 and Shujun and Wolf are just 2. He orders his men to draw their knives. Wolf tells Shujun in a serious tone that he didn't need to provoke them. Inside the hospital, Moyon is checking an X-ray when the nurse informs her that the patient might have escaped again, but someone has come to visit him. When Moyon turns around, she sees a girl in military attire. Moyon recognizes the girl and calls out her name. Myung-ju also recognizes Moyon. She asks for her boyfriend's reports, saying it's very special to her. Her expression turns angry when Moyon mentions that her patient escaped without paying the bill. Moyon instructs the nurse to collect all the outstanding payments from the girl. Myung-ji gets furious, questioning the hospital staff's competence in tracking their own patient. Moyon proudly mentions that she found the patient once before and leaves. In the office, Moyon tells her friend about the girl's visit. Her friend asks if she's sure it's the same girl. Moyon confirms this is the girl who did an internship with. Her friend teases Moyon, suggesting she's jealous because the girl caught the attention of someone Moyon might have liked. Moyon denies this, claiming the boy is her boyfriend, who came to the hospital as a patient and is only 20. Her friend laughs, pointing out that Myungju's boyfriend is actually a non-commissioned army officer who's not highly educated. In contrast, Myungju is a topper from a prestigious military school, and her father is an army general. Her friend implies that their backgrounds and social status are too different for a relationship to work. Shujun and Wolf bring the boy back to the hospital. Shujun and the nurse escort the boy, while Shujun and Myungju exchange admiring glances. Myungju tells Wolf she's aware he was injured, but Wolf remains silent. She asks Wolf to follow her. Meanwhile, Moyon returns to her patient and asks who caused his injuries. Shujun explains that the patient got into a fight with some thugs. Moyon asks the patient if he can reveal the truth without fear of repercussion. The patient blames the thugs, crediting Shujun helping him. Shujun smiles, joking that she won't believe what the patient says. Moyon ignores him and instructs the nurse to conduct a full-body X-ray and get the report to her quickly. As she leaves, Shujun calls out to her, but she doesn't respond, and he follows her. Shujun chases after Moyon, stopping her and trying to explain the situation. He tells her he's in the army, and they come to the hospital looking for a stolen phone. Moyon doesn't believe him and tries to call the police, but Shujun takes the phone away. He warns her that involving the police wouldn't be good and reveals they're on leave. Shujun shows her his army badge, but Moyon isn't convinced since those badges are common. He then shows her his army ID card, revealing he's a captain. Moyon asks about his role in the army, and Shujun answers truthfully. He asks her if she knows Myungju, the same age as her. Curiously, Moyon asks how he knows Myungju. Smiling, Shujun teases that Myungju will reveal the truth about him and asks her to follow him. Myungju tells Wolf that it's been a while since they last met. She expected him to miss her, but he seems unaffected, with tears in her eyes. She asks Wolf why he's treating her this way. Wolf claims he hasn't done anything wrong. She accuses him of running away from her. Wolf reveals that his feelings for her have changed, and he's decided to end their relationship. Myungju bursts into tears, accusing Wolf of lying. As Wolf turns to leave, she angrily reminds him to salute his senior. Wolf turns back and salutes. She orders him to stand there all night until he dies, and she breaks down in tears while watching him. Shujun arrives and lowers Wolf's hand. Asking what's going on, Myungju explains she's punishing him for disobedience, still tearful. Shujun ignores the situation and asks her to tell the doctor that they're army officers, not thieves. Moyon tries to get the truth out of Myungju, who responds by saying she'd hand them over to the police if she were in Moyon's shoes. Calling them deserters and waltz away, Wolf asks for his phone, and Moyon asks Shujun to give Wolf his phone. Shujun hands over the phone, frustrated, wondering what's so special about it. Shujun asks her if she believes they're army officers now. Moyon says she does, but a case of assault is valid. She asks Shujun to follow her. The security personnel tells Moyon that it'll take 5 minutes to find the CCTV footage, so Shujun and Moyon wait outside. When they're alone, Moyon asks Shujun how he knows Myungju. Shujun explains they train together. Shujun teases Moyon, asking why she's checking the footage when she already knows the truth. He jokes about her having seen a handsome thug before. Moyon laughs, saying even thugs in movies can be handsome. Shujun takes it as a compliment, implying she finds him attractive. Moyon asks Shujun's real name, and he shares it. He also asks for her name, and Moyon shares her. Wolf tells Moyon not to say he doesn't know martial arts. Wolf reveals that he learned judo in school. Wolf asks why he didn't fight back when attacked. Moyon says he didn't want to escalate the situation and mentions he's won several medals in judo too. The nurse interrupts, telling the boy that he needs to be admitted and requires a family member to sign the papers. Moyon says he has no family. Wolf intervenes, offering to fill out the forms. Meanwhile, when Moyon checks the CCTV footage, she's suddenly surprised and delighted. She watches Shujun take down the thugs with impressive skill, and her admiration for him grows. Shujun notices her happiness and smiles.